Hi, good afternoon. This is Merlin. I am doing my second YouTube video in regards to sharing my journey with my son who has autism. His name is Trey. He's 4 years old. And the first video I shared with you the history on when we first found out up till now and what we did from then until now. So for this video, I will be sharing with you what I do with my son that showed a lot of improvements. This is my son, Trey. Trey, wave. Show me waving and smile. Show me your smile. Show your teeth. Yeah, thank you. Good smiling and good waving. Thank you, baby. So I'm going to share with you what I do for homeschool and what has worked for me. And I've seen so much more improvement with him, more than ever. And we started the homeschool in February, so that was about 4 months ago. So let me show you my list and go through that. Gemini, this is the first one, Gemini. So if you want to do your research, please do your research first. Gemini.org. It's an online, clinically proven program that works for children with autism in regards to speech and social skills and language. This is really a good tool to use. And this is what I use for Trey. He watches the videos. There's many videos and many levels. You take a test first, but depending on your child's knowledge and skills, you'll be put on a level. So Trey started level 1, of course, and now he's on level 5, which took almost 2 years. It may be slow, but it really truly does work for Trey. So I would do my research and I would try everything because every child is different, and I would try what would work for you and your child. But Gemini, we do use that on the regular, 3 times a day at the least. For 20 minutes, he watches the videos, preferably during eating mealtime. But I do let them, my children, watch that 3 times a day, if not more. So that's a huge part of the regimen. It takes about an hour of my time, because since I do about 4.5 hours. And then I do floor time. Floor time, I would do my research on this as well. Floor time is also it's a relationship-based therapy. So what you do is you get down on the floor with your kids at their level and you interact with them, you play with them. For example, my son, when he was learning verbs on Gemini, so I incorporate that into floor time. Like, I would take the toy and I would be like, I would say, oh, look, he's running. Look, the cat is running.
Run.
See, and he would take...
Cat running.
Yeah, cat. The cat is running. Very good, Trey. So that helps them. You get to play with them and you get to incorporate the words or whatever it is that you're teaching them into playing time, the floor time. So that was a very effective, is a very effective therapy that I do, floor time with my children. You play with them, you interact, you bond, you create a bond with them, and you use whatever it is that you're teaching them, like running, walking, swimming. He did say all those things while floor time. So I use floor time. I try to do that every day as well. And then learning videos. I still do use YouTube. I don't let them watch a lot of cartoons, but I let them watch. I have 2 children, by the way, and one of my sons has autism. But I let my children watch learning videos. I try to stay away from cartoons, but learning videos such as I watch Busy Beaver and Rock and Learn. I like Rock and Learn because sometimes it has the mouth where they say the words with showing the mouth. Since children with autism, most of them are visual learners. So I use Busy Beaver, Rock and Learn. That's how they learn their shapes and their numbers. When I'm teaching them their numbers and shapes, then I use that video, or I search for a video that relates to what I'm teaching them. So learning videos. And then next, I have on the list arts and crafts. So that's also something fun, and that helps them to build their skills and being creative. So I use painting and I do like whatever they're interested in. For example, I join in and doing the arts and crafts, since right now they're not so good in the drawing and cutting using scissors. So like my son, he was singing Humpty Dumpty, and so I did like a Humpty Dumpty puppet characters. So the Humpty Dumpty's the king's horses and the king's men, and then I would do the singing. And they would love it and watch it and encourage them to use their words and to sing as well. So that's one of the arts and crafts that I did for Trey. And then let's move on next. The next on the list is a sensory and fine motor skills projects. So I would use a clay so that they can get into it, use their hands and mold it, and for sensory as well. And I recently bought, maybe a month ago, the cloud sand, and they just play with it. It helps them to play together as brothers, and also interact together by playing with the sand and the clay together. So that's sensory and fine motor skills. I started off with rice. I let them play with the rice, and then we colored the rice different colors, and then we played with that. So that helps with sensory and then fine motor skills as well. So, and then they would, put it into like different cups, so that helps them to learn how to pour. So I encourage parents to use those kind of projects as well. And the next one on my list is very important, which helped my son Trey, reading and flashcards. So I would constantly read to my son books. He loved books so much that I would just read to him, and that encourages words. And I would point, I would ask him, what's this? And it just encouraged him to want to say those words. So reading and flashcards are really important. It helped with the ABCs. He knows all his ABCs. He was able to learn all his ABCs before 4 years old. He was able to say all his ABCs, and then now he can count up to 40, but like I said, it just takes consistency. Even though I think like he's not learning, I just continue to do it every day. And then he'll just surprise me after maybe 2 months or 4 months, even after 6 months or a year. They'll just surprise you. My son, he learns, and I don't even think he's learning it, but one day he'll just say it. Like, I had the flashcards with the body parts, and one day he was just like eyes, nose, mouth, chin, neck, and I was very blown away. I was like, my son is learning. And so I just continue with the flashcards, even though he doesn't say it right away. His brain is absorbing all the information. So flashcards and reading is very important. I actually did, since I know he liked reading, I did books that tailored to what I was teaching him, because I'm teaching him how to form short sentences. So I did an I see book. I'll just give you one sample. I see the sun. I see the fish swim. I see a box. I see a hexagon. I see a hat. I see a happy and sad face. These are things that he's interested in. So that's why I put like the happy and sad face, sun, fish. So you can tailor your books to what you're teaching your children and what they like. So I did make 6 books. But that helps as well. So, very easy things to do on recycled cardboard. So I made those books for my son. Circle. Good job. And then square. He loves shapes, by the way. Triangle. Good job, son. And then tracing. He's learning tracing right now. I just use a whiteboard for tracing, but practicing their fine motor skills. I just practice him. I'm doing 2 letters every week. So right now we're on, I think, K and L. So I just let him trace it on the whiteboard. I have to hold his hand, but I'm just trying to get him used to that. He's going to be 5 years old, so he's going to have to learn how to trace and write. So I'm helping. So it depends on your child and where they're at, what age they're at as well, and where they're at as in skills-wise. But right now I'm trying to train him to do tracing. So that's part of it. And then I let him do puzzles. I trained him actually. He was doing the ABC. Rectangle. Very good. We're doing puzzles for like 3 times. Is it ABC puzzles all the way through Z. I helped him. I held his hand for like 4 times. And then the 5th time, he was doing the puzzle on his own. And I was just blown away. I was like, oh, it's going to take him forever to learn this. But on the 4th time, he was doing the ABC puzzles on his own. So just teach them persistency and consistency, and they will just surprise you. My son just surprises me. Just never give up. And then I think the last thing I wanted to just share that I'm looking into the NEMcheck protocol. That is, he has a book. It's a Dr. Patrick Nemchek. He has a oval. Very good, son. A guide to restoring neurological function. So I'm incorporating that into my son's every day. It uses olive oil, fish oil, as well as inulin, a prebiotic. I just started the inulin 2 days ago, and the olive oil I've been doing for extra virgin olive oil for a month. Please do the research on that. It's very interesting. I recommend to research it, but like I said, every child's different, and every parent